Test, test. Everything working all right. Lass mal die Leute mal reinkommen. Okay, perfect. Welcome everyone to the first ever Rare Hunter Riftbound tournament. I'm your today's host, Jenan, and I hope we will see some great matchups in the next few hours. Um, all the new cards got released right now, like this weekend, so we are able to play with the full set of cards on this Monday, and I think this is a great opportunity to check out what is meta and what will break the meta. I'm really excited about this tournament. I hope we will see some really cool matches. And we have our first two players. Um, both of them have a really interesting deck. We have a Kaiser deck and we have a Lux deck, both aiming to deal a lot of damage on the board. And let's see how this one goes. Here we see the battlefields got revealed. Champs and the units got revealed, and right now see, first of all we do the mulligan here. You can mulligan up to 2 cards. The cool thing here is you're putting them under your deck, drawing 2 cards, and the cool thing here is you're not redrawing the cards you already put down. So this gives you the opportunity to get a really new hand, and yeah, let's see how this matchup goes. Here we can see the first character being played out. The Ravenbloom Student, and when you play a spell, give me +1 this turn. So it's like a buff for this card. Here we see the next card which is being played is the Watchful Sentry, has a death knell, and the death knell is when he dies you draw 1 card. So we're seeing like 2 slower decks, I would say, nothing aggressive here. Trying to get like maybe the battlefield into position, getting the first points. Or trying to build a base here. Let's see the 2 battlefields we have here. The one battlefield right now entered has a special ability, which is really cool. If someone attacks, you can choose one of your characters and it gets +2 defend. So basically the unit gets buffed for 2. Interesting choice of the battlefield in the Kaiser deck or in the Lux deck. Both are very similar, but I think, as we can see here, definitely is not moving into this one, of course. Able to look at the top 2 cards. And putting 1 on top of the deck and 1 down. So you're able to like stack your deck a bit, like predict your next turns, and yeah. Here we see the Ravenbloom Student got removed by a spell, and now let's see what Kaiser is doing in this position. She could move into the right battlefield because all the runes are tapped already. get the point here, or maybe even move to the left battlefield to have like a dominant +2 shield position with this character. The thing here is, I don't think this is really important in this matchup because most characters will be removed by spells on both decks, so I don't think this left battlefield will have a lot of interesting thing. Like, so he's removing it with a spell, drawing a card of it. Maybe interesting why he's doing it, because they're like Kaiser characters that are enabling you to play out actions and like spells for free. So this could be like a reason why you play it out like this. What's possible here now, there's like a lot of runes, there's a lot of play, and we can see there are like no runes open at Kaiser's place, so he's free to go playing out the Echo. If Echo gets like removed from the field, um, you can recycle him to ready your runes again. That's his death knell, and if you play him out, you can pay 1 rune to play him out ready. This is also really good. Now all runes are all tapped at Luck's side, so the idea here is that Echo could like ready all the runes again, which would allow him to play again some of the spells he has in his hand maybe. So he's conquering both sides. No reaction here. He's allowed to look at the top 2 cards, put one down of his deck and put one up to his deck. If he doesn't like any of those 2 cards, he's allowed to put them both under the deck if needed, and he's doing that, so Kaiser looks in a really good position right now with a lot of runes left. Here we have some complications about the point system here. So he gets the 3rd point here, Kaiser with the 3rd point, and now dealing 6 damage to 2 units. Both units removed, all the runes are up because of the echo effect. The thing here is he has to recycle him. I think he put him in the graveyard, which is like not a big deal, but I think this is like a game error here. So let's see how this one goes. Now a reaction can be played. If he's playing one, we will see. But with both battlefields conquered on Kaiser's side, it really looks really strong. So there is no response. Now Lux has already a lot of runes. As mentioned, we are playing with proxy cards here, so everyone has the chance to play with their cards and try out new decks. Of course, the game is not out yet, so I think this is like a really good opportunity to understand the meta, understand new cards, and give everyone an opportunity to step in the game and try it out for themselves. Let's see how the reaction of Luke's side will look now. Playing out Call the Week, removing one character to step up this really hard battlefield control he has here right now. Let's see what comes next. He has a lot of runes left, so there will probably be something removed or played. Here, the Blast of Power. He can play it on his turn or in showdowns, and he can just kill a unit at the battlefield, which is really good right now. Both battlefields are like already unconquered again, so both can be conquered in the next turn. For 6, we're playing out the Kaiser from the champion spot. And a really cool ability: when she conquers, you are allowed to play a spell from your trash with the energy cost less than your points without paying its energy cost. So you're like, for example, Mike here with 3 points is allowed to play out a spell from the trash with 3 or less. But this gets easily removed by the Harnessed Dragon that kills an enemy unit, which is really strong in this position. Now Mike's using the ability of his Kaiser to pay basically 1 less for his spell here. Playing Kaiser and removing the unit with a really cool spell here. Ability here, the Eichen Rain. You can do this 6 times and deal 2 units to different units. So he basically shoot like 12 damage on the dragon, which is really interesting. I think this card is especially really good because you can remove big characters with it, you can remove a lot of characters with it, depends on the situation. Next up for 6, we see the Recruit the Vanguard. Play 4 1 cost unit tokens, and yeah, basically on the battlefield. Which is not that bad in that situation because the big spell got played, a lot of damage got onto the Harnessed Dragon, and now Mike has to find an answer for 5 different creatures on the board. As I mentioned, this will be like a longer game. Because basically both are trying to shoot each other down and trying to like get 1 point at a time. Okay, so misplay was made. I think it's alright to like take stuff back. And going in, securing the 4th point. I don't think there will be any reactions onto that because all runes are already tapped. Hey, we got raid from Earlmeister. Thank you very much. Appreciate it a lot. We're just trying out Riftbound. If you're new to this, basically we all printed out some proxies. Everyone can play here. Everyone can try out new stuff. It's also free for today because the game is new. We want people to try it out, and I think this is like a really good opportunity to also for competitive players to check out the meta, see some new spice, and basically get into touch with the game. So I think this is like a really good opportunity to just enjoy the game, get a bit explained from me, and yeah. Basically, we have a mirror control match here between two characters that try to shoot down each other characters. So this will take a long time here, but we're trying to get like one point here at a time. It's not like an aggro versus control list. It's a control against control. So this is like really interesting here. Who will get the points first? Who will try to conquer the two battlefields and secure themselves the win? Mike here has 4 points already. Klaus is already at 2 points, but the thing here is Klaus has already like 4 tokens played out, and token here can basically do a lot. We can see 4 runes, 5 runes are still played out, so Mike has a chance to react to this conquering thing, but he has nothing to deal with it, so Klaus gets 1 point, can look at the top 2 cards because of the battlefield, can put both down or can like put one up and one down. So this is a really interesting choice here. And let's see what the next move is. Klaus still with all runes left. Goes to 4. No reaction from Mike. Like you are in an interesting spot right now. You can play like a lot of characters. Maybe you can play like one big character. So you can see a lot of character got played out from the grave with Spectral Metron. When you play him, you can play a unit that costs no more than 3 and not less than from your trash, ignoring its cost. So he could basically play out the Watchful Sentry again, which is really good. And now the thing here is Mike needs to answer this board really well because you have to remove characters on the battlefields and you have to react on the characters that are in the base. I mean a Kaiser that can do this, but let's see if he has the right answers in his hand right now. So we forgot about the Lux effect. The Lux effect is basically if you play a spell that costs like 6 or more, you can draw a card for free, which is really good. And Klaus also playing out the Lux before he's giving up the turn to Mike. Now, Lux has a really cool interaction because you can add 2, but only to use spells. So the cool thing here, it's a reaction. Here Mike plays another great card that plays 6 damage to 2 characters. Both characters being removed here. The 2 big characters, that's what I also thought. And the thing here is now he has to like still secure the 2 boards here. The problem here is both sides play character with Defnel, and now Mike has to choose if he wants to give him 1 rune exhausted or let him draw another card. Interesting here, he has like 2 runes left, so he maybe could play something, but I'm not really sure if he has anything. I think the cool thing here is also that both players are explaining each other the effects, and there is like no like really try hard competitive matchups right today here. We're just playing for fun, we're trying to enjoy the game, we're trying to understand the game, and I think this is like a really beginner friendly tournament. So I think if you're new to the TCG, you're on the right place. Now we're just explaining the different types when something happens before or after. This is being discussed right now. Just to be sure, 100%, he's killing his character with the hidden blade. He's allowed to draw 2 cards, and here comes the thing, his character got removed. Now Mike can react with his 5 runes to that. And let's see how this one goes. I don't think this deck has any counter spells right now, so there's probably no counter spell coming, but definitely some removal. What Mike could also do is draw the 2 cards, look up what he has in his hand, and maybe react with those 2, but maybe he has something that would enable some other triggers at this point, at this situation. Removing, playing out the Phoenix. So Phoenix is a really interesting card. When it's in the grave and you destroy another character with an action, like with a spell, you're allowed to play him out for free. So Klaus here goes to 5. Will also probably have the shot to go to 6 with conquering the battlefield on the other side. Kaiser still has 3 open runes, so there could be something in Mike's hand to be able to remove something on the board. And let's see if Lux can secure the last few points this turn. For 6, he's removing the Phoenix. He's allowed to draw a card because of Lux's ability. Conquerors here is something coming from Mike's side. Dealing 2 damage, I think, to a character on a battlefield. Now Klaus can also, of course, react to this with cards in his hand. So, as I mentioned, this is like a really tough matchup for both, because both will try to get a few points in the first few turns and then slowly securing the victory. And I think this is like already a really grindy matchup we have in the first round. I think this is like also probably one of the better matchups we will see today. Both knowers are well known to play TCGs for good, and I think you can already see the decisions and how people are playing their cards shows that they have like a bit of experience here. just a side note for all of you. This will be always on Monday. We will stream this always on Monday. We'll see every time some new matchups. Every time we will see some cool stuff, some aggro stuff, some mid-game control, and so on. So be sure to follow, and yeah, enjoy the ride, enjoy the show, and let's go back to the game. So as we can see, that the runes are up. Kaiser's on turn. Kaiser needs to remove some stuff here. Here we're playing another damage spell, which deals 3 damage to a unit, and you can do it twice. So he can basically remove the right side of the field right now if Klaus doesn't react to it. Klaus is reacting with a really interesting card, the Portal Rescue. You can banish a friendly unit and then play it to its base and ignore its cost. So what you're doing here with the Watchful Sentry is you are removing him, drawing a card with his Death Knell, and you're playing him out again. Now Mike goes to 5, can look at the top 2 cards and decide which one he needs for the next turn. I think those both decks are really interesting because they are used to not play a lot of creatures, a lot of characters. We see a lot of spells, of course. And yeah, I think like at the end of the game it's like really important to get your characters out. You don't have unlimited resources. Of course, Mike, for example, has his 2 phoenixes on the board, which are like always being played out every turn if he removes a unit with a spell. So this is like this basically his winning condition for the late game against those decks. And it also gives you the opportunity to like play out characters really fast, because the Phoenix also gets +2 attack when he tries to conquer a battlefield. And with that said, Klaus has to think about his turn. The cool thing here is Klaus is also, with Lux's ability, having always the opportunity to draw a lot of cards with his spells. And as we can see, he's again playing out the very important card at this point, the Spectral Matron, that allows him to recycle a card from his grave to the field. Both, of course, at the moment untapped, but with the Death Knell of Watchful Sentry, you always draw a card when it's destroyed. So this is a very interesting first game. I think that other 2 games will be also really interesting, because I think both players are playing against each other's deck, like maybe not the first time, but the experience here is like really hard to tell at the moment, because you can't like play a lot. You can play a lot of on Pixelborn, of course. The thing here is you're playing always against random decks, and you can't like say, okay, I want to play against that deck, or I want to play against Kaiser or against Lux, and so on. So I think with also both having their like own unique deck and own unique deck list, we will see some like maybe some surprises in the next few games. Decisions over decisions. Of course, Klaus wants to remove a unit, and he's doing that, by removing the Phoenix again. But the cool thing here is Mike is drawing 2 cards again. What's really interesting is if you play this on your own Watchful Sentry, you can draw 3 additional cards because of the death knell of Watchful Sentry. Now here Mike has to react, removes the whole board with his favorite card at this point, Cantient Rain. You can deal 2 damage to a unit and you can do it 6 times. So he's basically removing the whole board. Now he's like, it's really interesting because you can like do some tricks here, and Mike has to like really think about how he places his 2 damages here, because if Klaus is able to like buff one of the characters, it will survive the rain. So at this point we got both, like Klaus with 1 point ahead with 6 points, Mike with 5 points. We will see how this one goes. Banishing him, playing him out again, playing out a character. Can't play him out. This the Soaring Scald again for free. With the Death Knell. With the Death Knell, he's also like allowed to draw 2 cards again, and the Phoenix is getting summoned up again, because as before, when a unit is removed with a spell, the Phoenix comes back to life. And we can see Mike securing his 6 point, and now is able to like put both cards on the top of the deck or like put both down. And today we're playing like a best of 3, but the first game already like longs like 30 minutes, so I think we will just have like a second game here, or maybe just 1 game. We will see how this round goes. But we are like slowly beginning to see the end here. Decisions over decisions. We will see here. Now let's see what Klaus can do with his. I think there are like 8 runes left. Mike can react to this. Doing 3 damage on the opponent's character, which means that both characters will be removed next turn. He's putting him back to the base, playing out Death Knell again. I think the Portal Rescue is the MVP of Klaus's game today, giving him like unlimited card draw with the Watchful Sentry and with the ability of Spectral Matron. Now there is another Call the Week played out. Both have to remove a character. The thing here is Claude is drawing a card because of his Watchful Sentry. And at this point, Mike has to react with some wombo combos in the next few turns. Because the Soaring Scout is already in the battlefield, the Watchful Sentry can enter it instantly and doesn't have to go to the base. Mike goes to 6 points. To 7 points right now. And now comes the thing. With the 8 point, he has to conquer both sides of the field or hold one of them till the next turn. Klaus has no runes left, so 1 rune left, which is basically really hard to go through this right now, because with 1 rune left you can't really react a lot. Klaus wants to hold the left side of the battlefield to secure victory here. Mike needs to answer that, or he will just lose the game. Here comes the thing. If he's able to remove the left side, he's like already saving like 1 round for him, because Klaus will probably not be able to get both of those battlefields in 1 turn. Mike's thinking about how he wants to play it. Playing out the Firestorm and dealing 3 to all units at the battlefield. Playing out his Phoenix for 3 out again. And now he's trying to hold his battlefield. And here comes a really cool idea. The time wrap took the win here. What time wrap does is you take another turn after this turn, and so you basically have no reaction after your opponent conquers one of the both battlefields. So basically the last card made the game here. Time Rob is like a really cool one-off he has in his deck, and with this he can like just hold it for 1 more round. So we have 40 minutes left for the second game. Now Klaus has basically to hold up the game to win this round. Mike has to play ultra aggressive to get those 8 points fast. As we can see, we got 2 new battlefields on the field. One of those battlefields basically doesn't allow you to go back to the base, which is really strong if you want to hold characters at the battlefield and you don't want them to be escaping from your spells. And the other one allows you to recycle a bit from your deck to search for some cards. And yeah, let's see how this one goes. So Mike doesn't play anything in his first turn. Klaus starts with his Soaring Scout, which when the when the scout dies, he can channel one rune exhausted, which is really good. Mike with 4 runes, playing out his Kaiser from the hand, tapped. From here on, the Soaring Scout will definitely enter a battlefield here, securing the first point, because Mike has no runes left. You have to discard one card and draw one card when you enter the battlefield. And with that said, Call the Weak is being played. Kaiser is being removed. Soaring Scout is being removed. The Death Knell from Soaring Scout is triggered, channeling one rune exhausted for the next turn, which is really good. So we just got information that the second game will be played out. Also, if it's overtime, we just want to see how this all goes and testing out some ideas. So we're not playing with extra turns. The game is being played out till the end. And let's see, Kaiser is being played out again. This time from the champion field, from the legend field. Now the battlefield trigger goes first, and then Kaiser. And now he can draw another card with Kaiser. But the thing here is, Klaus has 3 runes left and can react to it. But I think he will just let it go. And at this point, I just want to say, if you have any feedback, you can drop it in the chat. You can write us if there is anything you think would be better for the stream. You can drop it in the chat. You can DM us on Instagram, for example. And yeah. Now we're going through some rules here, explaining each other the effects, explaining each other the different procedures of cards and how the effects are being played out here. So with Klaus having 7 runes, he can play for one of his bigger spells, for example, or he could play out a character. And let's see. I think many of you guys didn't see Lux coming into the first game. Basically because I think this is like one of the characters which is not being played a lot, but I think has a lot of potential in the future meta. Because as I mentioned, it's a very control heavy deck and you're like able to also win against control heavy decks. I think a big nemesis of the Lux deck would be Victor, because there is too much to handle at that point. So basically you have like a lot of tokens, you have a lot of creatures that create tokens, and with that it's like really hard to contest the board and the battlefield. That said, when the character is played out, he can draw a card. Now he's trying to stack up the characters on the left side, which can be a bit risky, of course. But you have to secure the point somehow. So the seals are being here explained. So basically, you can the costs below the normal costs you can pay with the seals. So they are like a value engine for late game characters, for late game decks. And we see another sorcerer here, which gets +1 for every spell you play. Klaus's turn, has a lot of runes, can play a lot of stuff. Mike with 1 rune left. Of course, he could tap his Kaiser. Let's see how this goes. So, again, 6 damage dealt to 2 characters. I think those 2 are going down. And removing the character from the base. Both out. And of course Klaus is allowed to draw a card because of the ability of Lux. Now he's thinking how he should contest the battlefield. He's doing it with both of his characters. He could now deal 3 damage to the Spectral Metron to not trigger the effect of the Soaring Scout. And now I can react to this. Play out. Now, the effect of Kaiser is being explained because you can't use her ability to use for spell. So you can basically just use the power cost for it. Here at this point, it looks really, really good for the Lux deck. And now securing the 3rd point here. Mike needs to find an answer to the field, to the cards in the hand of Klaus. And he already knows he's playing the Time Warp, so this is also in the back of the mind. With that said, let's see what Mike does here. Plays him out, he deals 6 damage to character on the battlefield, removing Spectral Metron again. And he could still play something out for 2 to remove it. playing out the Faithful Manufacturer, and this allows you to create another recruit here, which is being done. Just trying to get the board state pretty good. Just trying to control the board, start contesting those battlefields and securing the victory. But with all those hands in Mike's, with all those cards in Mike's hand, he has the ability to remove all the units probably. Let's see how this one goes. Still 5 runes left on Klaus' side. Reacting with another failing comet that deals 6 damage to a unit on the battlefield. Using one. Again, removing the Soaring Scout and the Faithful Manufacturer, so just the token stays. As I mentioned before, we have like 1 minute left on the clock, but we will play this game till the end just to see how it goes. For 6. Progress Days being played, Klaus is allowed to draw 4 cards, which is really strong. 4. And 1 with Lux ability. That's right. But the card says just allowed to draw 4 cards. Think the potential threat and the only threat on the field can be removed with an ability, with spells. But the reason if you should do it or not is basically if you want to like try that your recruit or like the token you have here stay as long in the battlefield as possible. And Mike also still has 3 runes left, so he can also react to this right now. Again, removing the token. Draws another card. And with 5 runes left on Klaus' side, he can either pass or play out something on his own. We're playing out again the Spectrum Matron that allows you to play out a character for free or less for free, and he's playing again the Faithful Manufacturer, which plays out another token, so the board is again contested. Mike has to react here, remove the board, and try to get some points at the battlefields. Mike's right now in a tough spot, a lot of characters being played out, but he has probably a lot of cards in his deck that are able to contest this board. Mike going to 3. Now he discards one card and draws one card. Discards his Phoenix, which is really good because he can play him out for free if he needs it. Playing out another seal. Playing out. And here we go again. The rain is coming, dealing 2 damage 6 times. Characters removed. Phoenix is being played out because of this effect. And Mike passes turn here. Again, creating 4 tokens. Mike draws 2 cards again because of the Hidden Blade. Now he needs the rain again. I think this would be really good, and I think it's coming. Here we can see second rain probably, and removing everything on board. Because of that Watchful Sentry, he can draw a card again. Mike's able to secure one of the fields, one of the battlefields, getting the 4th point. With a lot of runes on his field. There is a lot Klaus can play. First of all, Echo is being played out. Mate ready. Attacking the Phoenix. Phoenix probably has to be removed here. Interesting. 3 damage on the Echo. Both characters will be removed at this point. Now maybe we could see a portal rescue again. As before, he could remove the Echo, play him out for free, and tap another rune to make him ready. This would be an option at this point. So he would also reset his runes. Here comes the explanation. Let's see. The judges here, the judges realizing what a tough matchup this is, and is like thinking, whoa, what the hell is going on here? So he's playing and played out again, enters the battlefield, gets a point. And now with 5 points, it's really hard to come back to this game, especially if you have Echo out, because resetting the runes and having the opportunity with Portal Rescue and of course also having Time Warp is really strong in this matchup. Of course you can counterspell Time Warp, but as we saw, Kaiser's deck probably doesn't have any counter spells at this point, so this is like a really good win condition for Klaus here. Again, playing out a few smaller characters here. I see a smile on Klaus' face, so probably has a cool answer for next few turns. So we're probably already over 30 minutes over time, but we're playing this till the end, and we will see if Klaus is able to secure the second win in this game. I think this will also be really important in the future in like bigger tournaments. If you don't have enough time for your games, that you surrender quickly in some points of the games, so you can start the second game early enough to end it. So maybe try to secure like one more victory or like the draw for the end. So I think this will be a really interesting aspect of the game by surrendering a game early enough to maybe secure victory in the other two games. Tries to get another point from Mike's side here. But I think there will be an obvious reaction to that, with all those runes being still untapped. And now The thing here is now Klaus can capture both sides with his characters. Mike can react to it with his 2 runes left. Will remove, draw a card, goes in with the next one. Another one is being played here. Now Klaus can react to this again, but he will just let it pass, draw another card. This time with Echo here, securing the 6 point. And I think this will probably be one of the longest games we will see in this tournament today. Seventh point secured. Now have to try conquering the board. The second battlefield to secure victory. And I think at this point Klaus is just trying to play as much characters into the battlefield as possible to secure the last point. Playing a secret, a hidden card here onto the battlefield. You're just allowed to play one hidden card into one battlefield. There is a special battlefield where it allows you to play even 2, but I think this here isn't the case, so now Mike has to react. Mike has to react to the left side of the battlefield. If he's able to remove all the characters on the board, he's able also to remove the hidden card, but I think this hidden card will probably be a hidden blade, so he will just sacrifice his token and draw 2 cards. And now he can react to it again. And securing his echo on this side. This one goes. Because Echo died, all the runes are up again. I think this series missed, but I don't think it's that important. So the last point here is really important. Let's see how this goes. And here comes the second echo. Now Mike has to react. And I think that could be the second game for Klaus. And what a control game. This is probably the longest game we will see today. So 2-0 for Klaus, 2-0 for the Lux deck. Let's see how it goes through the other ones, and we'll be right back with the next match. Next game is starting. It's Klaus Christian against Copper Lucas, our top 8 world qualifier in Lorcana. Let's see how this one goes. It's Master Yi against Ari. Pretty interesting matchup. Both with counter spells, so we will see a lot of interactions. Again, two decks that are like a bit similar with the playstyle. Trying to control the battlefield, trying to control battlefields first. That's, I think, the most important thing in this match. So, what Master Yi does basically is he's buffing a character if he's alone on the board. Ari has like a bit of a lower buff, but um, it qualifies for all cards, so for all battlefields and all. all enemy units, which is really interesting. So Mastery is like I'm playing big characters alone onto the battlefield, and Ari is more like I'm trying to secure the whole battlefields with my ability. So let's see how this one goes. I think the 3-cost Ari is one of the strongest cards. One of also like the strongest legends, I would say. Klaus Christian is doing the DKP move, showing his hand to the stream. Ooh. Can I recommend rotating the picture next stream so that it's left versus right instead of top versus bottom? This is like really interesting question. The thing here, we wanted to like it being played like on Pixelborn, so we have like the top side and the bottom side. And I thank you for the feedback. We will try to do that the next few times. And yeah, if you have any new ideas, just keep them coming. We will try to figure it out in the future. And yeah, let's keep with the game. So Sona on the board has the ability to ready 4 runes again. So Kaupa now has the opportunity to counterspell or do anything else, buff his characters at the battlefield. And let's see how this one goes. Of course, Klaus Christian is going to the left side with his Wild of Water. The quick question here is if it's allowed to play a quick spell out if someone goes into a battlefield but there is no character in. So the thing here is if no character is in a battlefield, a showdown is still triggered. Then it's checking if there is a character on the field, and then the battlefield, the showdown ends. So basically, you are allowed to react to those. And with Wild of Water, the fact is, while he's attacking or defending alone, he gets +2 strength, which is really good, especially in the Yi deck, which is also getting an extra buff. With Yi's ability, basically, you try to like get your characters out solo. So they're playing so basically they're playing Master Yi deck and the Ari deck, both like very control heavy and trying to like secure a battlefield for their own. This means both characters try to like be the first one on the battlefield, so they can like defend and attack easier, like defend easier. And what Yi extra does is like while a friendly unit defends alone, it gets +2. So basically, when you control 2 battlefields with Yi, it's really hard to conquer those both at the same time, like, or like try to contest them. So you have to basically contest both one at a time instead of like both at once. Now the big E comes in. He also has ganking and comes ready, which means he could contest the battlefield with 3 characters on, but he will just pass and play a hidden card onto the battlefield of his. Kappa still on 3. Now maybe has the chance to play out his Ari, which he's doing onto the field. As I mentioned before, this is like I think one of the strongest champions at the moment. Her ability is basically when she attacks or defends, you can give an enemy unit -2 to a minimum of 1, so it stays with 1. Now comes the cool thing with Charm. Kalpa here is allowed to move a character from Klaus Christian's side to the base again. Klaus Christian can react to it, but with 1 rune it's really hard. And here comes the counter spell. Really cool. And basically denied the charm here with the counter spell, which is important for the left side and for the left battlefield. Now Kaupa is trying to stack all his characters up to the right side of the battlefield so he can start contesting that Master Yi, which is a really big threat on Klaus Christian's side. Of course, with Sona, 4 runes are already untapped again. As long as Sona stays in that battlefield, those 4 runes will always be ready in Klaus Christian's turn. And Klaus Christian is just passing his turn at this point. Now Kappa wants to draw 2 cards. Will we see a counter spell? Christian is thinking about it. And here it comes. Card draw got denied by the counter spell. Now second Ari is being played. And as I mentioned, it's like whoever goes first into a battlefield controls the battlefield at this point. Contesting the right side at the moment is really hard. Not just because there are like 5 characters in it, it's more because of Ari's legend effect and Ari's champion effect. Passing turn in the 5th point. course, it's also risky to try to get the left battlefield for Lucas because you have a lot of tricks in the bag of this deck from Christian, and Lucas knows this. And they're just passing each other's turns. Lucas has no risk to take here, being ahead with 1 point. We still have that one hidden card on the left battlefield. Now he gets boosted, buffed by 1. And passing turn again. Now 2 Sonas on the field, so basically the clock is running for Christian here. But with all those runes, he has the ability to maybe trick Lucas out here in the last turn. Of course, he will have the opportunity to play out. Ooh, Warwick's really interesting here. Warwick running in. And here comes the Death Blade, dealing 1 damage to all units on the board. And I think Lucas has to react here with a counter spell. Here comes the counter spell. Now Christian can maybe play out another one. Trying to clear this battlefield. Now he tries to boost his Warwick here. Playing a counter spell onto the counter spell. Now maybe there will be a counter spell to the counter spell of the counter spell. But no, there isn't, so Warwick is securing this battlefield, going to 7, and now it looks really dangerous for Lucas at this point, because if he's not able to contest both boards, both battlefields, he will lose the game. Now here Christian has to just hold one of both battlefields to win the game. Let's see if Lucas has an answer for this. With Victor here, if you ask yourself what those two sleeves are, when you play a card on your opponent's turn, you may play a recruit unit token in your base. So, because he played two spells in Christian's turn, he has those two tokens, which are represented by those two sleeves. Now Christian has 2 runes left. And just has to like secure one of his 2 battlefields to secure the victory and to get the first game. So Yi is moving out with the charm. Attacking with 11. With block, can give a unit shield free and tank, so you have to attack the card first and deal the damage first to it. Now a guard is being played and it gives a friendly unit +1, and then additional if this turn only unit if it's the only unit you control there. But I think there is no way for Lucas to win this round, because he didn't get the one card he needed to end the game. For example, something that gives attack or something that like allows to trade properly in this point of the game. So the first game goes to Christian. And now we have 30 minutes left for maybe 2 more games. We will see. Now, interesting here, Lucas is going for his other Ari here, which when you hold, you score one extra point. Also, we have a really interesting card, which with mystical reversal that gains control of a spell, and you may make new choices for it, which is really really cool. So let's see how this one goes. Will Christian do the DKP again and show us his hand on stream? Wow, what an amazing player! So both start with 1 point here. So we just gonna see what is being played today. We have two Jinx decks, we have two Wally Bears, we have one Lux that we saw on stream, we have two Kaisers, one Lee Sin, one Ari, and one Yi. Last ones are being played right now. Here we have a new character on board. It's Caitlyn. Um, I must be assigned combat damage last, and you can tap her to deal damage equal to her might to a unit at the battlefield. And you can use this ability only if she's on the battlefield. I think Riftbound did a really good job creating a lot of interesting and playable cards in their first set. So we'll probably see a lot of new cards in the next few weeks when the meta develops. I think we just today we'll just see like 25% of it, maybe even less, and from time to time we'll see even more and more tech cards and so on. This time we did it without any side cards, side decks, but we will change this probably in the future. Here next up we have one of the stronger cards, which is also being played in a lot of set decks. The Carnivorous Snapvine, and when you play it, you can choose an enemy unit at the battlefield and deal damage equal to the mights to each other. I think Carnivorous Snapvine is one of the strongest orange cards there is. Like, I can't see any deck that isn't playing it right now. I think the ability is just really really strong. The thing here is that you can actually not counter this with some counter spells. It's really funny because all of the cards here being played from focus. So basically um, most of the buffing stuff, like for example discipline that gives 2 strength to a unit, and so on, and also all of the counter spells are all in the green color. So we can see like a lot of spells being played out by the opponents in their opponent's turn. Now Christian is thinking if he should go into this battlefield. Going to 9 because of the effect of Ari. Now block is being played, which gives additional 3 while it's defending to a unit. So it would be the 9/9 trade here. And if Lucas is able to remove those 2 big characters, it will be a big problem. And now it's getting counter spelled. No kill for Warwick here. Caitlyn is staying because of the different spells here. Because of all those spells, we got a big buff for the small sorcerer, for the Ravenblond Student, that gets +1 for every spell you play this turn. So basically it removed the Warwick solo, which is really strong. Another Ari is being played, and I think a Sona would be pretty strong at this point. Just being able to ready your runes after your turn. Now comes the Stalwart Poro, which is +1 while he's defending. Gets buffed. Going to 5. And this point, Lucas could play out a few more characters or just pass and try to react to all of the stuff that is coming next turn. Playing Charm on the Poro. Um, Basically, why what he's doing is he's forcing his Poro to enter the battlefield, and of course Christian can react to this with some of his spells, some of his buffs, some of his battle tricks in his hand maybe, but he will just keep it go and remove it. So it's like one threat less on the board here, with Ari and Caitlyn still in the base, still in the battlefield I mean. Copper has probably a lot of spells and a lot of battle tricks in his hand to secure the next few points. Here comes the Yi, which is of course a big threat for Ari. Christian has to think about his next move because Ari and the legend and the unit are able to reduce his strength by, I think, 2 or even 3. So Masti is moving into the left battlefield. And with the ability of ganking, he can enter the other battlefield at any time. So this is a thing Lucas has to think about while contesting the board. With 2 points left, Kappa could try to secure the one battlefield and try to hold it for the next 2 turns to secure the win, or he could try to get both battlefields out and secure the win in the next turn. So Blitzcrank is being played out, and the ability of Blitzcrank is that he is a tank, so the combat damage has to be assigned first on him, and when you play him to battlefield you may move an enemy unit to here, so he could move the Master Yi the right side. He activates the gear Zonias, so if his Yi is removed, he can just move it. He will just be put back into the base. So he saved his Yi by this, and now the board is getting heavier and heavier on the right side. As we saw before, sometimes even with 4 or 5 characters on the battlefield, you sometimes can't secure it, and sometimes you have to risk it, and at this point with 4 runes left, you have like still some tricks to be played out. Again with the Carnivorous Snapvine trying to remove the Blitzcrank. And now both players are boosting their characters to being able to trade off each other's characters out. So here it comes. If Carnivorous Snapvine has more than Blitzcrank, it will survive, but if Blitzcrank is able to get more strength, the Snapvine will be destroyed, and a huge tempo loss is beginning here. So another boost here on the side of Christian. Now with the 2 Stupefies here, he's able to save his Blitzcrank from the Snapvine and is able to secure the next point for his points. 7th point. Sona comes out. And the Eager Apprentice. The effect of Eager Apprentice is while he's at the battlefield, the energy cost for spells you play is reduced by 1, which is really strong. So I don't think that runes will be a big problem at this point for Lucas. I think he just needs to keep his hand size. And secure victory by it. Now he has the ability to gank to the other battlefield. Now to 11. No, to 10, sorry. And that's the second game for Lucas. Let's see, Christian is starting this round. Sonia's is being played out. Lucas is playing out the Eager Apprentice again, which is really good for later on reacting reacting to opponent's turns, especially if you have the Sona onto a battlefield. Playing out the Ari and passing the turn here. Can't forget the ability of Yi here, which is really strong, combined with Wild of Water. Again, while he's attacking or defending alone, he gets +2. And of course Ari is like reducing that combat damage again, combat strength again, with her ability, and of course the legend and the character together are really strong by debuffing your opponent. Playing out another Wheel of Water and passing turn. Copper. Now again with 1 point ahead. Could again stack all his characters into the battlefield or try to build up a base and try to work from there. As you can see, a very similar match as we have seen before, with two decks that are likely trying to do the same, but in different ways. And with 4 runes left, there is no real reason to attack the right battlefield, because you know there is a lot of counter spells, you know there is a lot of different spells that boost your characters. Eight runes, there is a lot you can do here for free. Another Ari is being played. playing one card hidden, and passing the turn with 5 runes left untapped. With 10 runes, there is a lot Christian can do at this point. Even with playing out Master Yi, he has 3 runes left. Playing out the Kiana, which has deflect, and you have to like recycle one of your runes to, or you have to pay extra for her to be targeted by a spell, which is also a really good um, death mechanic. So I just got the info that this game will be played out. And next up we have meditation. You can play this and exhaust a friendly unit to draw 2 cards. Of course, gets +2, draws a card because card is used now. Secret, draws 2 cards again if he doesn't react to it. I think this matchup is really depending on the resources that both players have in their hands and on the field with the runes. So basically you just try to like overtake and like outrun your opponent with cards in your hand and cards on the field, of course. What can be done? Masi could be played. Again, Lucas has 7 runes left. 7 runes left to work with. Now the Kiana is being played out. Again, a character with deflect. Now we can see. I think this will be one of the most important turns in this game. So we're here trying to contest the speed of the game. Another counter spell is played out. And I think this is the complexity of the game we're seeing right now. If you're new here, don't be scared. I think this is like one of the most complex situations we already have here. Two counter spell decks playing against each other and trying to secure the win here. So as we can see here, a lot of spells are being played and a lot of counter spells are being played. So the one that aren't counter spells are trying to boost your character, and the one that are counter spells are trying to stop that. And by playing out the counter spell against the counter spell, you are countering the counter spell. So this is the, I think, most complicating thing that is happening today. And nö, das kannst du immer verwenden. Ja. Ich glaube, du musst sogar, oder? And with the Zonias here, he's surviving. The Zonias being used. And another buff playing on the Kiana. And all are going back to the base to try to get the final shot in the next turn. Diesmal sage ich auch einfach, was du in der Hand hast. I think it's cool here that a lot of players are like trying to interact with your opponent in the opponent's turn, and with the charm again, his character is being removed because he's forced to move into the death threat here on the right battlefield. Lucas trying to secure victory by conquering both battlefields, and now he just has to hold one more to win the game. With that said, we also have a lot of characters in the base of Christian, and with all the runes readied, I just looked over and Lucas has like 20 cards in his hand, so he will probably use all of those runes he has. And yeah, let's see how this one goes. These are really hard decisions because you have to think about all the tricks there are. And now it could be really interesting because he has to get the right side of the board. Charming onto the left side. Really interesting. I mean, if he gets all three charms, he's safe to go. But let's see if this is happening, because Lucas has a lot of cards in his hand and probably also a lot of counter spells. But he's giving up his one Ari. The next charm is being played out, and now it's being risky. Ari will be placed to the left battlefield if Lucas doesn't have a counter spell for it. The thing here is, if Lucas tries to boost up his Ari, Christian can decide if he wants to put her into the battlefield or into the base. And this is a nice counter for it, because it takes the effect of a character and reuse it. And that's the win for Lucas. And yeah, I think that a little misplay was to play everything into the left side. And yeah, that's game 3, and we'll be right back for the next round. muss noch kurz. So, we're going to the last game of today. We're playing here Kaiser against Lee Sin. A really interesting matchup. We have. Let's go through the abilities of those two characters. We already know Kaiser. Kaiser and Lee Sin have very different abilities. Kaiser with all those spells, and Lee Sin is working a lot of with buffs. So basically, Lee Sin tries to push himself to like really high stats and be able to like survive different spells, for example, and so on. So, fun fact here: two brothers are playing against each other right now. So let's see how this matchup goes. Pretty excited about two different decks now playing against each other. We had like two very familiar decks two times right now. We had like Kaiser and Lux, which are like trying to ping damage your opponent to death, and we got the second matchup was Ari against Yi, which basically was just the ability to try to conquer one battlefield and hold it to the end. So here we have like two whole different matchups, and we will see how this one goes. Nothing being played in the first turn, so we see. And next turn is being passed. The cool thing here is another turn is passed. Both are a bit breaking. Lee Sin is being played out here. Basically, the ability of Lee Sin is that he has shield, so he gets +1 while he's defending, and if you tap him, you can buff him. And the thing here is, he can like have enough buffs as much as he wants. So this is really strong. Any entering the battlefield, no runes. are ready on Clement's side, so he has no chance to react to it. And with any your spells and abilities deal 1 bonus damage, which is really, really strong. And the gear is played out. We didn't change anything from the audio, so thank you for that. And what's really interesting here with the shakedown, you can choose an enemy unit and deal 6 damage to it unless it's controller. As you draw 2 cards, so he draws 2 cards and secures himself a lot of more cards in his hand. With the gear on the field, probably deals a bonus damage again, which is really interesting. Charm is being played. We know this card well, and we know what is happening right now. And he will move to the right side of the battlefield and being removed by Lee Sin. And for 6, will we see another Lee Sin on the board or something else? Playing out for 2, drawing 2 cards because a unit was removed this turn. And Kiana is being played. I think one of the most So guys, just want to tell you, we will host this every Monday, so be sure to subscribe and like follow so you don't miss out. I think this is like a really good opportunity for everyone who is new to the game and wants to get some stuff explained, like the basic movements and so on. And if you also like to play competitive, I think this is also a good way to go because we have a lot of good players here that have some really nice deck ideas. For example, we had the Time Rob before from Lux, which was really amazing, which really amazing. Yeah. So both are going down with the Rain, and again, Rain, one of the strongest Kaiser cards. Still 1-1 here. Now a big character was played last turn. It was the Bilgewater Bully, and while he's buffed, he gets ganking, which is really good. Here on the other side, we can see the Raging Firebrand, and when you play the character, the next spell you play this turn costs 5 less, which is really good. Another gear is being played. the Ravenborn turn, and the next spell you play deals 1 bonus damage, which is really, really strong in combination with the free spell you can play out now. And with that said, we will see if the Bilgenwader Bully will survive. Phoenix is being played out, and the turn is passed here. Udyr gets ready with the buff he has. And now Clemens is on 3 points. Trying to secure those 2 battlefields right now. Of course, with those 2 gears on the side and the 2 extra damage, that can be done. This will be a really, really interesting match now, especially if you see that Clemens doesn't have any runes in his bag. So there's like 1 rune left, so he could play like 1 small counter spell, but nothing else here. Recycling Kaiser, dealing those 2 extra bonus damage, and now dealing 5 damage, I think. No, even more, 6 damage. Set for 1. He's dealing 3 damage to it and entering the battlefield. Both out, and now the Phoenix can conquer 1 of those 2 battlefields and secures Sebastian securing himself the 3rd point in the 1st round. And playing out Heimerdinger 2, which has a really cool effect by just recreating a tapping ability of a friendly legend unit and gear. So what can happen here? He can tap Heimerdinger, and now you can deal like 4 extra damage if I read it correctly. So for example, a White Seeker would do like 8 damage at this point, and I don't think Lee Sin can survive this even with like 2 or 3 buffs. Sin being played out again. Tapping to give him a buff. And passing turn. Sebastian getting the 4th point here. Sin goes in, gets the 4th point, draws a card. And with 10 runes left, there is a lot to do here. Could play out a second Lee Sin, for example. Could somehow maybe, I think, even charm the Phoenix or the Heimerdinger if needed. Of course, the Kaisers also could be a big problem later on. Especially with the ability that you can play out stuff for free from your grave, which he already has with the tapped gears and with the tapped Heimerdinger. This will be like a huge win on Sebastian's side, so we'll see how this one goes. With 10 in, now here comes the question if a spell is being played, but there is not. It goes to the 5th point, and if he's able to remove the Lee Sin on the left side, he can even secure the 6th point and threat to end the game next turn. And he's being played. And Ari are being played out. Clement's going to 6 points, so it's still for him. But now he needs like an answer for the threats in the base of Sebastian. At this point, you have a lot of runes, you have a lot of cards in your hand you can work with, so let's see how this one goes. For 6, Udyr is being played out, of course being buffed, buff is being spanned, goes into the location, going to 7, and could pass turn now to threat with different spells and so on. If he's able to secure both of the battlefields, he's threatening for the next turn to win the game. If he doesn't do anything, he just loses, so he has to go in at this point. Nonetheless, you can't do a lot, and the Lee Sin is doing a lot of problems here because the Lee Sin can be buffed, and in that point he can also buff other characters, and when Udyr gets buffed we have like a whole another problem. I'm not really sure if you can use his effect on your opponent's turn, so let me just check that. Um, but I don't think that's possible, so now it's time to go for the threats and just go in. Now the next spell costs 5 less and dealing 6 damage each. And here comes the counter spell. That said, you can still take both battlefields. That's game here. So first round goes to Clemens, and next round is starting soon. Next round is up right now, so let's see how this one goes. Lee Sin starts. So Lee Sin just gives the turn up. Watchful Sentry for the first turn, Kiana for the second turn of Lee Sin. Kiana really hard to counter because she has deflect, and with the deflect option you have to pay one additional rune to choose her for a spell or ability. Serent is entering here, getting the first point. And the Phoenix is being played out. Now Kiana could enter the left battlefield, secure a point, or even destroy the character. Dealing 4 damage. And pay 1 for deflect. And recycle the card. This hurts a lot with the counter spell, and also the thing here is he used like recycled one of his runes, so he also had to give that up. At this point, really hurts a lot, and a really tempo miss from Sebastian here. I think Yasuo is pretty cool character. Definitely a sleeper pick for me. But I think there are like better options in those colors. For example, Ari is pretty strong. Masti is really strong. And I think, but the thing about Yasuo is that you have like this character that can like remove a unit just by moving into it. And you can also, I think, use his ability in his own turn, which is also really, really strong. Also in the opponent's turn, which is really strong. So yeah. As you can see, Kiana here. And the next spell from Lee Sin is being played out. And bit misunderstanding here. Let's check the effect. So being removed here, and I think at this point you can just slowly conquer the field with those cards. Both characters removed. The emote spamming in the chat is insane. I think this could be like a really interesting turning point of the game. Missing the first turn, but being able with Kiana and the counter spells to like secure. Both being removed. Can draw a card now, and At this point, we can see the runes are going up on Lee Sin's side, and Lee Sin will be probably played out soon enough. Heimerdinger is out also now. And let's see what happens next. With 8 runes on the board, there's a lot of damage he can do now. Lee Sin is being played out here, paying probably 1 extra for the buff here. Kaiser's coming out here and passing turn. Again, Lee Sin is on board. There are no runes untapped on Sebastian's side, so Clemens will probably conquer one of both battlefields here and secure another point this turn. Sin moving to the right battlefield. And playing out another Kiana. Tap the Lee Sin for the effect to get another buff. Sin has 2 buffs now. Sin's like the only character that can do this. Having multiple buffs. Really strong here with, I think, 8. Hard to remove, but still not impossible. Still has 2 runes left, so like a trick can be played here. Let's see what happens here next. A lot of cards in hand, a lot of decisions to make, especially if you can conquer. Now Kaiser can play a spell for free with 3 or less. Recycles one. So first of all he buffs himself. Clemens with 4 points here could secure the 5th point by removing the Kaiser here with some buffs, and with Kiana you can see there are no runes left on Sebastian's side, so it looks really dangerous, and it could be like a potential loss by this misplay before. So comes in ready, removes the Kaiser, gets another point, secures the second state, and keeps probably just passing the turn here. So what can happen here right now is like you can try to remove those characters from the board, but it's really like really hard. You don't have enough extra spell damage on field. You have like 2 at the moment, which is maybe enough to remove like one of the characters. But Lee Sin will stick probably another round. And with 1 rune left, there is still a chance to get counter-spelled. Five damage dealt here. And here comes the counter spell. And think this is GG. Both going in. 7 and trading off. Heimerdinger conquers, gets 1 point. But with that there are like Phoenix left. Phoenix being played in, and that's turn. Six point, and now just needs to try to get the right side to win the game. Now he needs like a buff to secure the right battlefield with Kiana and win the game. And Wally Bear is coming in, getting buffed with Lee Sin, being made ready, and securing the right side of the field, and probably also securing the victory here. And I think that's it for this turn. Now Sebastian needs to remove both characters from both fields. Comes a free song night now. Let's see what it is. Both characters are removed and nice save in the last seconds here. If you're able to control both or like conquer both battlefields in one turn, you also win the 8th point. So he can like try this or for Kiana, and that's turn. Next turn it could be really difficult to remove those both characters, especially with deflect. That's game. 2-0 for Clemens here, and yeah. So guys, that was the last round of the day. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a follow. We're doing this every Monday now. From now on, there will always be some Riftbound stuff on Monday. We will maybe play games or like do a like how to play and so on. So if you enjoyed this, leave a follow and see you guys soon. Bye.